took this trade in the B period when we started reclaiming these levels coming back into value. You can see I'm waiting for it to pull back to the VA low there. And I did put that contract in because it was pushing pretty hard and I didn't want to miss it. So I got one in. I'm waiting for the pullback. Get the second set of contracts in right there. I move that stop down under that break on the 5-minute chart, and that thicker purple line is the weekly VA low. So if you look on a 4H chart and put your weekly volume profile in there, you'll see what I'm talking about, how it's bouncing back and forth between the weekly VA low and high. I didn't want this thing coming back to me and retesting those lows. So I went ahead and moved the stop up, take my first target before that. That's the session VWAP, the dashed dot line. And then it's coming into that bigger node on the volume profile. If you look on the TPO chart, look on the right side there, I thought that would be a spot where there'd be a bigger pullback. So I did go ahead and take that third contract there. And it kind of jams me up later, when we move a little bit higher, because I thought the next place to take a target would be the POC. But because I got rid of that third one, didn't have an extra one because I thought ultimately we would go to the VA high. You can see I haven't marked in the 5-minute chart there. So because I only had that one contract, the trade ends here at this POC. But if you look at the 5-minute chart, you can see how it's going to pull back and test that RTH. I'm sorry, that's the session VWAP. Right here, it's going to pull back and test it. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. When it did that test, I expected it to shoot up to that POC. And then once we were in that bigger node, I really didn't want to see it come below that. So I'm going to start moving the stop up after this. Just because it was starting to fight it here, it didn't shoot right to that target. I did hit the cash POC, which is right next to the TPO chart, but I kind of expected it to shoot right up to the session. And when it didn't, we're going to get another push here. It's going to test that VWAP one more time. That's the session VWAP. So when it just kind of started stalling out like this, and I only had one contract left, it'll push up here one more time. I'm trying to decide, how much I want to give up, because this is about 80 ticks. 70, 74, 75. We get a little bit of a pullback, and I'll go ahead and close it right there for about 70 ticks. And of course, it did end up going, but I didn't have that other contract. So in this trade, I tried to catch that same, I thought we were doing the same thing where we were kind of returning to value, headed towards those VWAPs. I put in a little bit of a feeler contract here and thinking that we'd get a bounce on that 550 line. But then right there, it took me out. So at that point, looking at the fact that we failed from the overnight low, which is the orange line, I thought for sure we were headed towards the lows. And you had the delta starting to roll over there. Once it looked obvious, I added the second contract. I wanted to get to that first node. I'll point it out here in just a second. With my first contract, that would be about 27 ticks. And, we weren't getting the heavy delta, so I definitely want to take my first contract right around that node. I'm basically pointing it out right there. Once we get that little pullback, I move my stops down to protect me from the, if we started bouncing back to the upside. Get a nice push down. I take my first contract. I'm going to bring this stop down above the POC here, just in case it rejects this lower end. But I thought we should take out that lower, see where that red line is, because you can also see how exactly we came to it. I thought we should clear that out. So I wanted to front run that a little bit. So that takes my last one out.